So a couple of weeks ago, I was over in Vegas, and an incident happened at a very small organization. They called it the UFC, kicked out King Azoulay, but it was a small organization that invited me to come out and promote them.
Hello, my name is Ingrid Suarez, and I am the stage manager for the now infamous UFC 153, where Ben Azoulay showed up unannounced and unbeknownst to me and everybody who was in the arena. Apparently, did not know he was going to show up, and the fighters that were in the VIP area in the cage were all about to just jump over everything to get him and absolutely destroy him.
And what I'm the most curious about in this situation is to see how Bendover reacts to this situation.
Well guys, it seems like little old Bendover Azoulay just never seems to learn his fucking lesson, and has now fucked around to such an extent that he is entering the find out stage at a rapid ass pace. And with this video, it is only going to continue to get more stupid and worse for this downright dipshit. Because if you have been keeping up with my channel, then you would know that Bendover has recently went on this kind of crusade against all of the haters and against all of the people who have just hurt his little fragile feelings in some type of way. And it seems that that little crusade is not working out for him too well, because I mean shit, even as I am making this video, John Bravo himself decided that he was going to drop a little response to it, and he basically ended up exposing Bendover's whole little financial situation, where we got to see that he actually doesn't have a whole lot of money and isn't this big millionaire superstar that he tries to portray himself to be. And this all occurred because Bendover's dumbass decided he was going to try and call John Bravo broke.
And then the name of the business, he is not operating one. And then you see here under assets, he circles savings and says he's got 12 grand. I don't think that's millions, you know, he says he's a millionaire. And then under the car, I see $18,000 as his value.
And of course, I had to include this because I'm going to be using it to talk all types of shit later on. And if you want to see the full version, then definitely go check it out in the description and comment section below. But it appears that this little tirade that Bendover has decided he was going to go on didn't only piss off John Bravo, but there was one video in particular that ended up pissing off quite a few people that are a part of an organization that he decided to try to call out. And that organization would of course be the MMA organization that ended up kicking his goofy ass out when he tried to show up there like he was some kind of celebrity. And we had actually watched that very clip in our last video, where he was trying to make all types of crazy ass claims and was basically going out of his way to try to ruin the organization's reputation, along with trying to get the stage manager fired and trying to ruin her reputation as well. So he was doing a whole lot of shit talking, and from what I can now tell, was also doing a whole lot of lying.
So a couple of weeks ago, I was over in Vegas, and an incident happened at a very small organization. They called it the UFC, kicked out King Azoulay. I know it wasn't the UFC. As you guys have seen, I've been to the UFC, and I say hi to Dana. I was also with Dana gambling, so it wasn't the UFC. But it was a small organization that invited me to come out and promote them. While I got there, there was a gentleman, older guy, with another guy, two bald-headed, egg-looking motherfuckers who I didn't know, but obviously they knew who I was. So the old guy said some to me, and that's after I was already there, going around showing the organization and stuff like that, and hi to the owner, people showing me love. And this guy confronted me about some fake news. So what did I do? Step right into his face and wanted to see what he was gonna do about it. You know what he did? Like a little fucking go to the security and said that he fears for his life, so to please get me out of there. So when the security came and asked me to leave, said that there's a gentleman, a low life, he said that he feels threatened for his life. I said okay. I came to support the organization. This is on the verge of shutting down. I am the king, not them. I came to help. So I had a call with the owner after, and this is what he had to say.
I really appreciate your time and coming to the fights, and again, forgive me for that fucking bullshit. Not allowed back. We're going back to the girl that was running the floor before her. Okay.
Beautiful. Said obviously that he's firing the girl who spoke to the security to get me out. And these two egghead looking motherfuckers are not allowed back into the organization, as you heard him speak. And clearly what you guys have seen on the internet isn't that true, because now you know the true story. The little Guy didn't do anything except call security. He had the chance. I was right in front of his face. I put my face so close to him, he felt threatened. I would have broken both of their faces right there. But no, there were too many people for that. So just so you guys know the real story, this is exactly what happened.
And obviously, in my last video only yesterday, we were not buying this shit whatsoever, and we were especially not buying the whole I would have broke both of their faces right then and there bullshit. But as you could tell, he was also playing this card that this organization needed his help, and they were trying to get him to come promote it, and they were asking him to be there and doing all of this other shit. And this would have been already bad enough on its own, considering the whole grape case that this clown has going on. But on top of this, he even took pride in the fact that he was trying to get the stage manager fired and was trying to essentially ruin her life because he showed up there causing issues and then ran away like a bitch. And since he was going out of his way to talk this shit and to try to ruin her life, I figured that it was only fitting that she should get a say in the situation. And with a little help from one of the Saints Mafia members who has been coming in clutch, I was able to get in contact with her, where I learned quite a few different things and got a little bit more clarity on the situation, since Ben wanted to bring it up multiple months later and wanted to try to lie about it and basically turn everyone who doesn't like him against said organization. And you see, the stage manager was not too much of a fan of good old Bendover here, because she not only stated that Ben did try to indeed get her fired and was that salty about it that he went after the only person he could, but also stated that she knew about the phone call with the owner and was claiming that Ben heavily edited the living dog shit out of it, which is what we also suspected, and was doing whatever he could to just prop himself up and make her and everyone else look incompetent. So obviously, this was just some next level deception and petty ass disgusting tactics, but this was not where it ended whatsoever, because along with this right here, something else that is really interesting that Ben didn't want anybody to see was the fact that she was even commenting on his little post where he was saying all of this bullshit, and he was hiding her comments the entire time. And I gotta say, I see why he was hiding them, because not only was she calling him on his shit, but she was also flaming the living fuck out of him and hit him with a good old "your wife left and not even clavicular wants you," and was just probably living in this man's head rent-free. Since, you know, he tried to get her fired from her job when all she was doing her job. And since that was the only thing that Bendover did tell the truth about was him trying to get her fired, I figured that we would also take a look at her POV on the entire situation and had her send me a video explaining what happened step by step in her mind, so that we could really get an eyewitness testimony from the very person that Bendover was trying to remove, just to expose this clown even more and hit him where it hurts worst, which is of course his pride and ego, and just to pair it with the video we have so you can get a better idea of how much of a clown this guy really is and how much it must have really bothered him.
Hello, my name is Ingrid Suarez, and I am the stage manager for the now infamous UFC 153, where Ben Azoulay showed up unannounced and unbeknownst to me and everybody who was in the arena apparently did not know he was going to show up, but then ultimately got ejected and hopefully banned from not just our event, but every other MMA event imaginable, any fighting event for that matter. My job as a stage manager is to make sure the floor and the show is kept safe and smoothly going in a very good flow. And that's how we were doing. This show was going so smoothly until Mr. Ben Azoulay decided to show up with his camera crew, because it was just one guy with a camera crew, and decided, he was just going to strut in like he was Mr. Big Shot, and he was shot down many, many times by many of the people in the arena. I did not know who this person was, and I am on the internet constantly. I've been on social media for many, many years, and I never knew or heard of this man. So when I am standing there, because my job is once the fighters get into the cage, I stand there to make sure it goes smoothly. I make sure the host is okay. I make sure everybody is okay, and that by the time the fight ends, I have to run back to the dressing room. So as the fight was about to start, here comes Ben Azoulay walking towards my left. If you see the video, you see me. And I hear King David and Fighter Circus shouting, "Didn't you a 15-year-old.
And we're just gonna pause it here for a second, because clearly nobody was sponsoring this goofy ass motherfucker who decided that he was gonna show up with his own little camera crew, which were just made up of a couple of clowns that he is trying to help push their podcast for, and that for some reason are interviewing him. And he tried to act like he was some famous model walking into this event. And obviously nobody there knew he was coming, nobody expected him to come in and just sponsor their shit, and the only people who recognized him ended up recognizing him for the whole she was 15 thing. So this guy is already just cooked beyond belief, to where as soon as he entered the event, not only did nobody recognize him, besides, for his grape case, but they were already seeing him as just a complete clown who was trying to act like somebody famous.
And in my I had my meta glasses on, and I switched them on, and that's when you see some footage of me saying, who F a 15-year-old, because I'm taken aback. I'm completely in shock that this accusation is being made. Again, I did not know who he was. No, a lot of people do not know who he was or who he is. And, for someone who says that he really is famous, honestly, I know a lot of famous people and I don't know who the fuck he is. So I start hearing these accusations, and if there's video footage of me from John Bravo, where you see me just going back and forth, debating what the hell is going on. Like, is this a real accusation? Because it is a hell of an accusation, and again, I don't know who this person is. So I approach Fighter Circus immediately and I say, what is going on? And he and I had an constant interaction, where he told me what was going on. He showed me the proof of a 15-year-old minor girl with his brother and his friend. And I basically had to sit there and make a decision that was for the best of the whole arena. Mind you, it wasn't just, it sat so badly in my soul that I kind of waited too long, because as a professional and as a stage manager, I have to be smart about the decisions that I make, because it affects the organization. It affects everybody within the organization and within the arena. So when I made that decision, it was because ultimately I did confirm, and the fighters that were in the VIP area, in the cage, were all about to just jump over everything to get him and absolutely destroy him. Now, mind you, this is a family-friendly event. So there are children who are 5, 6, 7 years old in this event who could have gotten injured had anything broken out. Now, within all the fighters' rights, because honestly, I felt like I took a little too long, but they're saying that I didn't, that I did exactly what I needed to do. And I really appreciate the fighters that have had my back this whole time and have defended and completely supported my decision.
And yeah, so not only did the people in the stands just want to beat the living shit out of this man, and as we saw in the video, not only were they pointing at him, telling him to leave and trying to get him out of there.
Bro, everyone's on it. They're all fucking pointing at him. I got security guards over here.
But even the fighters apparently wanted to whoop his ass. And for some reason, when Bendover was there, he just didn't want any of it with anybody. For some reason, all of a sudden, he was just a bitch who wanted to leave, even though he was constantly calling people out and was constantly talking about how he's an ultimate fighter who nobody in the world could take out. But then once he gets behind his camera, he is willing to talk all of the shit, and for some reason isn't even man enough to go after the people who are calling him out and after the fighters, but instead decided he was going to go after the stage manager who was just there doing her job, keeping him from just getting absolutely dog walked by one of these fighters in front of a bunch of little kids and people spectating. But this is the person he decided he was going to go after and try to get fired.
So at one point, security continues to come up to me. What do we do? What do we do? Who is this guy? And I'm like, okay, hold on. That's when I go, that's it. When I start seeing the escalation of everything that was going on, I decided that's it. He's got to go. So I walked towards where he was and I point him out to security guard. And I said, that's him. He needs to go. And that's when security went ahead and started escorting him out. And while he did the walk of shame and ultimately got into an Uber, they made sure he got into an Uber and left the premises. They're saying I saved his life, but I think I saved a lot of people's lives that night. I did my job the best I felt possible and the best I could to make sure the show kept running smoothly. The fights finally ended. We had a new champion and everybody was happy. So I will continue to do this as a stage manager. I will continue to keep the public safe, because at the end of the day, it may be my floor, but it's everyone's cage and that is everyone's fight. And this is what we're doing. We're fighting for the right to have these people publicly shamed and never show their faces again, because it is absolutely despicable and disgusting, the atrocities that they do to children, to women, to everybody, to men. So I hope this finally explains my position and my perspective, and it shines a new light on everything, even though I really don't need to, because everybody else that I mentioned in the beginning of this video have done amazingly and continue to do amazing work in shining a light in such a positive light. I'm really appreciative. I thank you so much. I hope this continues and that the public shaming continues. If they're not going to release the list, we're going to start releasing the names ourselves and publicly shaming them. Thank you so much. Much love.
So yeah, not only did Bendover do the walk of shame, which we all saw, in which he got made fun of for so damn much that he felt the need 2 months later, and tell what appears to be some insane bold-faced lies, all in order to ruin people's reputations, get them fired, and just try to ruin them in general. And then he got in his fucking Uber and was driven off. And that part is really funny to me, because as we saw at the beginning of this video, John Bravo exposed his finances, which weren't very great, so you know damn well that Uber ride must have been hurting his wallet a little bit, considering that he doesn't have it like he's always trying to pretend he has it. And she is not the only person since the event who came out and who was annoyed by Bendover's lying, because we also had fighters and people there in the video who were calling him a pervert and just exposing the shit out of him.
So this pervert piece of crap showed up, and how did he get there?
I think King David and I were both in the same position. Like, we didn't know really what the hell was going on.
Yeah, so we just started at the beginning because a pervert pulled up to an MMA event, right? And unbeknownst to me, I didn't recognize this dude because I'm not in that sphere, right? I don't even know how he got there.
I do.
Whoa, what? Maybe we should take it back to the thing.
Champ is here.
So, yeah, let's exonerate my guy right now.
There's a reason that I invited every single person that's sitting
The
here
puzzle
today.
fits.
Yeah, so this pervert piece of crap showed up, and how did he get there? What was the whole night like?
Okay, so I'm gonna just say this. One, I get invited to a lot of things. I know a lot of people. I don't condone anything by anybody that I invite, but you know, sometimes people ask me for favors and I go, oh yeah, I could figure this out. One of the guys from McGregor Sports hit me up. Good friend. I know that he works with McGregor. He was just doing the Canelo Crawford fight. Good kid. He goes, hey, I'm in Vegas. I'm with a few well-known people. Is it cool if I get some VIP tickets? I said, hey, sure. Let me see what I can do for you. I got him tickets. I didn't know who he was all bringing. So once he got there, it was him, Ben Azoulay, some other guys that have a podcast, and like 2 other people or something. I have no idea what's going on. All I know is that I handed them tickets. I walk in, I'm doing my thing. We were the presenting sponsor for the Tough Enough fight, so we were like the main sponsor there with Motion. I'm doing a million things that night. And once I come in, I see a little bit of a commotion happening, and that's where you guys can probably take it from there, because I don't even know what happened when he first walked in.
And yeah, it all just shows the person that Bendover really is, to where he's willing to go to these lengths to try to get back at people who hurt his ego and who showed him for being the coward he is. And it's just crazy to me that he even attempted to lie and is attempting to silence this person after he tried to ruin her job. But with that said, that's enough for one day, and I just had to expose this horse shit because I couldn't stand how he was trying to play it. So if you enjoyed, please drop the sub and a like and join the Saints Mafia, where we are flaming this clown every other day. And I'm out. Watching Bendover Azoulay continue to get exposed by people, and peace.
Yeah, get that fucking guy out of here. Fucking later, bro. Later.